Qualities of zodiac signs: movable, fixed, and dual signs. Capricorn, Part 10. Capricorn is a movable or Chara sign, ruled by Saturn and aligned with the earth element. As a movable sign, it expresses Raja's Guna, a quality of striving, action, and initiation. But here it acts in a measured, disciplined way. Capricorn doesn't burst forth like Aries or flow emotionally like Cancer. It moves with purpose, long-term vision, and calculated effort. It's the steady climb, not the sprint. Movement in Capricorn is tied to duty, structure, and achievement. When Capricorn rises as the Ascendant, the personality is goal-driven, mature, and grounded. These individuals tend to take life seriously from an early age. While other movable signs may act from emotion or instinct, Capricorn's actions stem from strategy and responsibility. They initiate not because of restlessness, but because there's a mountain to climb. The fixity comes from Saturn, but the sign itself is not fixed. It's actively building towards stability. These people are often self-made, preferring hard-earned success to quick results. With Capricorn in the 4th house, as for Libra Ascendant, there can be a sense of responsibility and restraint at home. Emotional expression may be cautious, shaped by structure or traditional expectations. These individuals might carry burdens from family or feel the need to manage or uphold the household. The movable earth quality here suggests the home life may evolve through effort, slow relocation, property building, or improving status through real estate. Emotional roots deepen not by indulgence, but by building something lasting. In the 7th house, for Cancer Ascendant, Capricorn brings pragmatism and duty into relationships. These individuals approach marriage as a serious commitment, often after careful consideration. They may attract older or more established partners, or play that role themselves. As a movable sign, Capricorn allows growth and structural change in the partnership, but not emotional drama. The danger here lies in allowing duty to replace intimacy. Over time, the relationship must remain a living structure, not just a legal or social contract. In career, when Capricorn rules the 10th house as it does for Aries Ascendant, it creates one of the strongest karmic placements for public life, status, and long-term achievement. These individuals are built for sustained effort, often rising slowly but securely in life. They thrive in systems, government, engineering, management, law, infrastructure, and are often drawn to roles that require discipline and accountability. As a movable earth sign, Capricorn ensures that upward movement is steady and earned. Capricorn's movement is not scattered, it's upward. It knows that shortcuts don't yield lasting value. This gives the sign a seriousness that some misinterpret as coldness. But Capricorn isn't heartless. It simply doesn't waste effort. The Raja's Guna here is restrained ambition. When balanced, it brings unmatched perseverance. When excessive, it may turn into workaholism, rigidity, or emotional repression. The role of Saturn, ruler of Capricorn, adds a karmic flavor. Capricorn's initiations are often delayed, yet deeply significant. The sign teaches patience and endurance, not just for personal gain, but for building something larger, whether it's a family legacy, a company, or a life philosophy. Its life lesson is simple but profound. Real movement comes from steady, grounded striving. So when Capricorn rules the Ascendant, home, marriage, or career, it brings the principle of responsible action. It moves, but it moves with planning, under pressure, toward legacy. Capricorn doesn't leap, it climbs. And in that upward journey, it teaches the value of time, integrity, and self-mastery. Changing energies of planets with qualities of zodiac sign, Part 10, Capricorn with conjunctions. Capricorn is a movable earth sign, ruled by Saturn and governed by Tamas Guna. But unlike Taurus's comfort-driven stability or Virgo's mental refinement, Capricorn's earth is ambitious, cold, and calculated, mountainous terrain that elevates only those willing to climb. Its Chara nature adds motion to form. It doesn't rush, but it does progress. Every planet placed in Capricorn is forced to slow down, structure itself, and earn its rewards. Conjunctions here create disciplined builders, executive minds, karmic reformers, and stoic leaders. If the planets cooperate, the results are legacy-worthy. If not, they may wrestle with repression, rigidity, or burnout. Sun plus Mercury in Capricorn in the 1st house creates a poised, intelligent persona with structured self-expression. The Sun in Capricorn seeks leadership through performance, not pride. Mercury adds analysis and communication. These natives express authority not by shouting, but by knowing. They tend to rise as advisors, planners, or institution leaders. If Mercury is strong, this forms Buddha Aditya Yoga with a Capricorn tone, measured logic, policy-oriented mind, and a dignified demeanor. If afflicted, it can create cynicism or overly formal communication. Moon Saturn in Capricorn in the 4th house gives emotional gravity and inner responsibility. The moon here is in its sign of debilitation, while Saturn rules Capricorn, so the Lord controls the planet. This combination often leads to early life hardship, stern family environments, or repressed feelings, but over time, it forges profound emotional endurance and wisdom. These individuals may become caretakers, architects of tradition, or serious emotional anchors for others. With Jupiter's support, it forms Shani Chandra Yoga, a deep, wise heart forged in pressure. Mars-Venus in Capricorn in the 5th house unites drive and desire in their most refined, ambitious expressions. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, acting with strategy. Venus is practical here, favoring stable love and artistic control. In the 5th house of creativity and romance, this duo produces highly disciplined artists, graceful athletes, or intense lovers with boundaries. When harmonized, it creates Kamastira Yoga, desire expressed through discipline. If imbalanced, it may lead to possessiveness or rigid romantic expectations. Jupiter plus Mercury in Capricorn in the 2nd house blends structured intelligence and ethical reasoning in the domain of speech and finance. Jupiter brings vision, Mercury practicality. In Capricorn, they calculate for the long haul. These are financial planners, legal thinkers, or wise business communicators. If Jupiter is strong, this forms a modified Dana Yoga, wealth through reasoned speech and conservative intellect. If afflicted, there can be a struggle between values and pragmatism. Sun Rahu in Capricorn in the 3rd house creates a relentless communicator with an ambition to influence systems. The Sun seeks identity. Rahu exaggerates drive and nonconformity. In Capricorn in the 3rd house of media and initiative, this creates political tacticians, bold strategists, or power communicators. If well managed, it creates a Raja Yoga through cunning effort, those who rise through calculated communication. If afflicted, there may be egoic manipulation or internal distrust of authority. Moon plus Mars Ketu in Capricorn in the 6th house builds a psychic fighter, one who battles quietly but deeply. The moon absorbs, Mars defends, Ketu dissolves ego. In Capricorn, all three are muted yet sharp. In the 6th house of enemies and service, this forms a Viparita Moksha Yoga, those who serve or heal through crisis, karma, or silent war. Emotional suppression may yield healing gifts if channeled well. If not, there may be health disturbances from inner unresolved tensions. Venus, Saturn, Mercury in Capricorn in the 10th house is a dignified and calculated karma yoga configuration. Venus brings aesthetic power, Saturn structure, Mercury analysis. In Capricorn's domain of executive command, these individuals are master negotiators, administrators, or elite designers. If Mercury and Saturn are strong, this forms a Trikona Raja Yoga, leadership through refined intelligent control. These are the refined bureaucrats or artists who build cathedrals, not canvases. Jupiter plus Ketu in Capricorn in the 9th house produces philosophical minimalists or spiritual realists. Jupiter governs dharma and belief. Ketu severs dogma. Capricorn materializes both. These individuals often walk the narrow path between skeptical rationalism and austere faith. If Jupiter is strong, this forms Jnana Moksha Yoga, wisdom earned through detachment from institutional teachings. If afflicted, it can bring estrangement from one's culture or unresolved spiritual longing, masked as intellectualism. Saturn Rahu in Capricorn in the 11th house gives unrelenting ambition for structural influence. Saturn seeks longevity and control. Rahu intensifies hunger. In the 11th house of networks and gains, this pair builds empires, but through shadowy or behind-the-scenes maneuvering. These individuals may control industries, governments, or institutional reform. If well aspected, this becomes Raja Yoga through karmic effort, power that survives. If afflicted, it can cause paranoia, social alienation, or unethical strategies for gain. Sun plus Venus Ketu in Capricorn in the 8th house reflects austerity in pleasure and renunciation through power. The Sun gives authority, Venus adds grace, Ketu dissolves worldly attachment. In the 8th house of hidden transformation, this creates the occult reformer, the tantric minimalist, or the corporate mystic. These natives radiate detached charisma, often gaining influence through secrecy, inheritance, or hidden talents. When connected to the 12th or 1st house, this forms moksha karma yoga, liberation through karmic surrender and silent mastery. Mars, Jupiter, Moon in Capricorn in the 12th house channels action, wisdom, and emotion into service, withdrawal, or healing. Mars is exalted here, giving silent strength. Jupiter brings dharma, Moon brings feeling. In the 12th house of isolation and higher surrender, this trio creates mystic warriors, silent philanthropists, or yogic scientists. If well supported, it forms Mahamoksha Yoga, liberation through tireless behind-the-scenes action. These people do not boast, but their impact is enduring. In Capricorn, planets do not merely act, they endure. They are tested before trusted. This is the sign where everything must be earned, where pleasure is disciplined, and where karma is cleared through labor, service, and sacrifice. Conjunctions here don't make celebrities. They make legends. Whether in politics, architecture, mysticism, or law, Capricorn conjunctions ask, can you build something that lasts beyond you? If the answer is yes, Saturn will crown you with something no one can steal. Timeless relevance. Changing energies of planets with qualities of zodiac sign. Part 10. Capricorn, continued with more conjunctions and yogas. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn and governed by Tamas Guna, turns every planetary conjunction into a test of maturity, endurance, and karmic accountability. In this Chara, movable earth sign, the energy is disciplined but mobile, like tectonic plates, slow-moving but world-shaping. Here, planets are stripped of frivolity and sculpted into form, legacy, and leadership. The yogas formed in Capricorn are often austere, long-gestating, and heavy with responsibility, but when actualized, they build institutions, systems, and unshakable foundations. These conjunctions don't rise quickly, but they last. Sun plus Saturn in Capricorn in the 1st house brings a deeply dignified and often karmically significant personality. Sun represents authority and identity, while Saturn in its own sign imposes structure and restraint. This is a native with delayed but enduring leadership potential. They may come across as stern, quiet, or emotionally guarded, but with time, they are entrusted with real power. When unafflicted and in the Ascendant, this forms a Uttama Raja Yoga of earned leadership, command born from service. If conflicted, it can bring father complexes, authority aversion, or heavy self-criticism. Moon plus Jupiter in Capricorn in the 2nd house forms a tempered version of Gaja Kesar Yoga, though the moon is debilitated here. Jupiter uplifts the moon slightly, creating someone who speaks with moral clarity but emotional control. In the 2nd house of family and speech, this conjunction gives conservative values, a humble tone, and karmic responsibility toward wealth and family. With benefic support, it gives steady financial growth and quiet wisdom in interpersonal dealings. If afflicted, the emotional world may feel burdened or locked behind duty. Mars plus Rahu Mercury in Capricorn in the 3rd house produces an unstoppable strategist. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, Rahu supercharges ambition, and Mercury brings cunning. In the 3rd house of initiative and communication, this trio can create political operatives, business tacticians, legal fixers, or military planners, those who win through patience, language, and hidden maneuvers. If Mercury is strong, it forms a highly potent Chaturanga Yoga, mastery over speech, tactics, and timing. If afflicted, it can manifest as ruthless cunning, over-strategizing, or sibling rivalry. Sun plus Venus Saturn in Capricorn in the 4th house expresses controlled love, responsibility, and loyalty in domestic life. The Sun brings dignity, Venus adds charm, and Saturn brings gravity. Together in the 4th house, they create a composed, prestigious home life, potentially austere or minimalistic, but deeply rooted in honor and preservation. These natives often inherit family responsibility or act as guardians of tradition. When well aligned, it forms a Kalatra Sthira Yoga, emotional grounding through structured beauty. If afflicted, warmth may be suppressed or love may feel transactional. Jupiter plus Ketu's Mars in Capricorn in the 5th house blends spiritual action, philosophical detachment, and passionate control. Mars acts with discipline here, Ketu detaches, and Jupiter lends higher understanding. In the 5th house of creativity and progeny, this conjunction can produce a spiritually motivated teacher, ascetic artist, or karmic parent. The native may struggle with attachment to romantic or creative outcomes, but work tirelessly to perfect their legacy. If Jupiter is dominant, this forms Jnana Karma Yoga, wisdom manifesting through duty-bound action. Mercury plus Moon Ketu in Capricorn in the 6th house brings a detached analyst with strong mental focus and emotional control. Mercury structures thought, Moon internalizes experience, and Ketu severs clutter. In the 6th house of conflict and healing, this creates skilled therapists, researchers, or problem solvers who prefer silent service over accolades. This trio often has karmic ties to service professions or emotional debts paid through healing others. If supported by Jupiter or Mars, it creates a moksha karma yoga, inner liberation through disciplined daily effort. Sun's Rahu in Capricorn in the 7th house reflects a public persona built on high-stakes alliances and karmic partnerships. The Sun seeks recognition. Rahu intensifies desire for social ascent. Capricorn disciplines this hunger but also rewards ambition. In the 7th house of partnerships, these natives often attract influential or foreign spouses, or seek fame through public association. If Venus or Jupiter supports, this forms Raja Yoga through alliance, success via strategic pairing. If afflicted, the native may experience power struggles or ego loss through others. Moon plus Venus Jupiter in Capricorn in the 8th house yields quiet emotional power, financial acumen, and regenerative grace. Though the Moon is debilitated, Venus and Jupiter elevate its expression. In the 8th house of transformation, this trio may indicate one who manages legacy, wealth redistribution, or intimate healing. They often find beauty in the taboo or meaning through loss. If Jupiter rules the Ascendant or 9th, this creates a variation of Dana Moksha Yoga, spiritualized wealth through deep emotional service. Mars plus Saturn in Capricorn in the 10th house forms a powerhouse of karmic leadership. Mars is exalted and Saturn rules here. This is Ucha Sthira Yoga. In the 10th house, this duo builds careers brick by brick, often in military, infrastructure, governance, or engineering. These natives are relentless achievers, often feared, always respected. When unafflicted and supported by Mercury or Jupiter, this forms Shakti Yoga, immense will channeled through responsibility. If afflicted, it can bring cold ambition, overwork, or strained father karma. Sun plus Moon Mercury Ketu in Capricorn in the 11th house suggests a karmic social reformer. The Sun radiates presence, the Moon responds to social tides, Mercury strategizes networks, and Ketu severs from popularity for truth. In Capricorn, these energies serve social structures. These individuals may reject mass popularity to become elite curators, spiritual organizers, or detached humanitarians. If the 9th or 10th lords are involved, this forms a Moksha Raja Yoga, someone who leads for the good of others, not for personal gain. Venus plus Mars, Saturn's Rahu in Capricorn in the 12th house combines desire, action, discipline, and obsession in the realm of isolation and dissolution. This powerful cluster may point to highly productive individuals who retreat into work or spiritual service. These are those who build temples, research in labs, or manage behind-the-scenes empires. If Venus and Saturn are strong, this forms a Karma Moksha Yoga, a soul working silently through form, structure, and karmic transcendence. If afflicted, it may indicate suppressed sexuality, burnout, or psychological walls around vulnerability. Conjunctions in Capricorn aren't about show, they're about structure. They manifest slowly through duty, silence, and grit. The yogas here often test the soul's endurance and ask, can you carry power without pride? Can you create order without control? Planets conjoining in this Saturnian landscape become legacy architects, designers of systems, stewards of timelines, and guardians of karmic law. Where Capricorn tests, it also protects. And those who master its terrain inherit a power that is neither flashy nor fleeting, but eternal in form and respected in silence.